Hey, good evening. I'm Matt Houston. In case you hadn't noticed, the Arctic blast is here. Fortunately, the power grid is stable tonight. This is a live look at ERCOT's supply and demand forecast. The gap between teal and purple you see means there's enough electricity to keep Texas's lights on, plus another 3.5 million homes. Still, the weather has proved troublesome for many of you. We have team coverage tonight, including Zach Briggs' report on the latest travel delays, and our Hannah Tita highlights a San Antonio nonprofit trying to save lives overnight. But we begin with meteorologist Jeremy Baker, who's got tonight's most important information, your forecast. And Jeremy, the coldest temperatures are yet to come.
Yeah, that's right. We're already down to the teens and 20s in many areas, but we do have temperatures dropping a little more. So the hill country saw the cold earlier today than most areas, so temperatures will be dropping much further there. Already cold enough. 14 in Fredericksburg, Kerrville, 16, 14 Rock Springs, San Antonio right now 20 degrees, 33 in George West and Beeville. The few locations above freezing. When you factor in the wind, this is what it really feels like outside. Feels like 0 in Kerrville, Rock Springs, -2 in Fredericksburg. San Antonio feels like 6 degrees outside. 20 George West, 20 in Cotulla, 27 Carrizo Springs. The good news is we're going to warm up a little bit as we head into tomorrow, but this is still 7:30 a.m. We're talking about minus numbers below 0 for the hill country. By the afternoon, back into the teens and 20s. Things will get better as we head through Christmas weekend, and especially next week. Warmer weather on the way. All the details in your full 7-day forecast a bit later in the newscast. Matt.
Jeremy, thank you. Across the U.S., thousands of flights have so far been delayed or canceled, but most travelers using San Antonio International found today's experience relatively smooth. KENS 5's Zach Briggs explains how the airport is handling the last-minute holiday rush.
As a winter storm sweeps across the nation, thousands are feeling the nail-biting reality of disrupted holiday travel plans. Tracking website FlightAware recording more than 3,000 canceled U.S. flights today and tomorrow. So far here in San Antonio, only a handful of scrapped departures and arrivals. More delays than anything.
It will be chilly. It will be brisk.
Airport Director Jesus Sainz stressed San Antonio International is working closely with the airlines when it comes to flight status. As for getting through TSA,
we're ensuring that our wait times stay below 10 minutes throughout the entire process, trying to accommodate everyone's needs so that they can go enjoy their beautiful time with their family and loved ones.
I'm here.
Chris Beatty is relieved after being stuck for hours in Denver, dealing with plane problems.
Deplaned, waited another few hours, got back on it, sat on the tarmac again for an hour because they didn't have the proper paperwork.
He and his wife are headed down to Corpus Christi for a little camping trip.
It's supposed to be warm.
As for Lee Griffin, he got here extra early.
13 more hours before I leave.
And he's anxious to board his flight to Florida for the holidays.
Praying that I don't have a delay, and hopefully I won't have one, and I'll be back home with my family tomorrow at 12:37.
And travelers are encouraged to arrive at the airport at least a couple hours before boarding time. And of course, check your flight status by visiting flysanantonio.com or the mobile app for your airline. I'm Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
Well, if you're staying home this weekend, many of you will rely on space heaters to keep warm. Remember, the heater should be on a hard, level surface, not on a table. Keep it at least 3 feet away from everything else, and turn the heater off when you leave the room or go to bed. Plug it directly into the wall and make sure your smoke detectors are working. This is the risk. First responders believe a space heater sparked this deadly fire in Houston. When they arrived, firefighters say flames were pouring out of the home's front side. The 2 people inside did not survive. Officials tell us the front porch also collapsed and a firefighter himself needed help getting out. The city of San Antonio and Bexar County have opened 7 warming centers across the city. Those facilities can protect those who don't have homes or a place to stay. But with thousands on the streets, there are probably more people than beds tonight. KENS 5 reporter Hannah Tita joins us live at the Garza Community Center. And Hannah, outreach workers estimate hundreds of people are stuck in the cold right now.
Yeah, that's right. The shelters just like this provide a crucial service, but not everybody has access to transportation, and some may be avoiding shelter because they have pets, they have items they don't want to leave behind, or even have kids and are worried CPS will get involved. So right now, a local nonprofit is scrambling to bring supplies to those sleeping outside.
A bag of essentials, including food, candles, and a lighter. Given with a warm blanket, socks, sweaters, and hats.
You lose 70% of your body heat from through the top of your head.
Volunteers at Yanawana Herbolarios are packaging compassion this holiday as a winter storm brings a deadly threat.
All of the agencies have had caseworkers who have had clients that we lost, to just pretty much freezing to death.
About 100 survival kits will be distributed to unsheltered people before Christmas, but this freeze has been particularly challenging. Yanawana Herbolarios just started collecting winter donations, and most of its volunteers are out of town for the holidays.
There's just all these things that we're like, no, like this wasn't supposed to happen until another month from now.
Maria Turvin encourages everyone to reach out to the unhoused people living in their neighborhoods. Offering transportation to a shelter, paying for a hotel, or providing warm clothing can save a life.
It's not the responsibility of the city. It's not the responsibility of our organization. It's collectively all of our responsibility.
Now, if you are able to help, Yanawana has some helpful tips. Make sure you bring a friend with you when you do outreach work and ask people what they need. If you do bring them to a shelter, just make sure to call ahead just to make sure that there is space. And another thing is a hotel. Those can be really useful because people can bring their belongings with them in a locked space, but make sure that that person has an ID with them when they check in. We'll post these tips and more on our website. Reporting live, Hannah Tita, KENS 5.
Hannah, thank you for braving the wind for us tonight. Don't forget about your pets tonight either. This is the first real cold snap since the governor signed the Safe Outdoor Dogs Act. That means dog owners are now required to give Fido adequate shelter from bad weather and access to clean water. Though the Humane Society says you shouldn't leave pets outside at all when it's freezing. If that's not possible, make sure your dog has a house and some blankets. San Antonio police are asking people and businesses with automatic sprinkler systems to shut them off during the freeze. If you don't, overflows and runoff can freeze on the roads and eventually become black ice. That happened back in 2018. Take a look. Water overflow froze part of the I-10 access road near the Huebner Oaks Shopping Center. At least 9 cars crashed on the ice patch, and that water came from a business's busted sprinkler pipe. Our coverage continues on the KENS 5 app. Stay ahead of the storm with up-to-the-minute weather updates and breaking news that could affect your drive tomorrow morning. You can download it for free on the Apple App Store and on Google Play.